With Legend of the Sea Devils on the way and the next series in the planning, I wanted to put down something simple because I've been branching to other shows during the downtime of each series. So, sit back, relax, and put your feet up whilst I take you into the list of my different ideas for episodes I wish the show to do, and thanks to a new team for the show coming soon, we might have a chance of these being done at some point.
Wait, music episodes your first idea?
Well, yes, I may not be a fan of all musicals, having only been to a couple in my lifetime, but musical episodes? Now, that's something musical I can get into. My example for this would be the Flash crossover episode Duet, where thanks to a villain called the Music Meister, people seem to be in a dream world where they're all singing or dancing. Now, doesn't that sound like Doctor Who material already? The Doctor companion could land on a planet, they only communicate in singing, and if you don't, you're cast out by the people of the planet. But it turns out they only do this because of villains overrule of the planet, as they want to do something with it, or they just want power over people. Now, you might be asking, Thomas, what if the actors playing the Doctor or the companions can't or don't want to sing? Well, I have this covered. One of the characters will get arrested by the planet for not being able to sing, so with this, the character can show the other parts of the planet less forgotten by the citizens, meaning that we get different sides of the planet with the non-singing characters and the singing characters. And if you think Doctor Who can't do musicals, then listen to the vocal themes of Who from series 1 to the last one they made. Still, there's enough examples in those themes to show that it can be done, and if done well, it can make for some great entertainment.
Okay, a long shot episode, Thomas. Now you're taking the mick.
You say that, but I'm going to tell my next example of why it could work, which is the X-Files episode Triangle. With this one, the showrunner of the show, Chris Carter, found out in a typical episode of that show, of 44 minutes, he could get away with 4 11-minute takes, which could all be put together in one episode. This is something Doctor Who's tried a couple of times to do right. I mean, look at the Bells of St. John for its sequence inside the TARDIS to the plane, or the beginning of the Ghost Monument, where those sequences kept the action pumping by allowing the direction to stay with the characters throughout the whole sequence to make us wow in astonishment when we first saw them. I mean, it would be easy. You could make this part of the budget-saving episode by having one inside the TARDIS, like a better version of Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, or something like a Based on the Siege story where it could be set in space, but all we see is the corridors, and we get to see all the dingy and darky recesses up close and personal, and have a feeling how claustrophobic it really feels.
Oh come on, we've already got this, haven't we?
Yes, we do. Old Doctors meeting up with the new ones in the anniversary specials. But what I'm thinking is less that we bring in the old actors to see the younger ones, but more of a fact of putting the actors in classic episodes, just like my example of Trials and Tribulations from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. In that episode they inserted the Deep Space Nine actors into the scenes of the original series, including one notorious scene where Captain Sisko meets Captain Kirk through the art of digital insertion. Of course this would take a large amount of money, but lest you forget, Who's already done this before? Remember the beginning from The Name of the Doctor or the ending to The Day of the Doctor where Jenna Coleman was digitally placed in the classic scenes, or Matt Smith, David Tennant and John Hurt were digitally placed on the cloud to show them against the old Doctors. Also the 50 Years trailer where we see through the show's history, which looked exceptionally good at the time. I suppose yes, this would have to be another anniversary project. I don't think they can just pull this out for a normal episode, but it would be nice to have this episode, say, set in the Ark in space, or one of the stories where the main Doctor of the era doesn't do much, but we can see the future Doctor help them to give them a hand and keeping the timeline in check or something or other. I suppose, in a way, we could do this with a story like the Space Pirates. It would be hard because that story is missing, it's in black and white, which would be hard for trying to get the digitally inserted parts right. I mean, look at Forrest Gump for example, but it would be a good challenge overall, I guess.
Sure, Tom, but what you're talking about is Doctor Who from 1963 to 1969, aren't you?
No, not exactly. What I mean is an episode where it's not only black and white, just like the good old days. Go away, Will, stop editing my scripts. But we'd also have to emulate the old 30s movies and serials from the science fiction genre of the time, just like my example of the Smallville episode, NOIR, which Also did that to another of the Superman origins at the time. And before you ask, yes, I know about Invaders of Mars where 8 and Charlie team up with Orson Welles and we find out the truth behind the story of the broadcast of War of the Worlds. I think that story is underrated indeed, and it's surprising to come from the pen of Mark Gatiss, if you follow his TV work. It's fair play from reading his novels from the 90s like Nightshade. Also, if you're a fan of space like I am, you'll like the fact that Simon Pegg and Jessica Stevenson are in this one. This one would probably be an easy one to make, though you'd have to try and stay a bit away from not repeating the Invaders of Mars again. Perhaps do the Shadow, 1931 character created by Walter B. Gibson. It could be a thing where we find out that the Shadow's a real character or something, or we could see them team up or something.
Right, that's it. I'm leaving.
I guess what I have to explain here is that I think Doctor Who would be perfect for an episode that would be filmed like a fly-on-the-wall documentary, such as my last example for today, which isn't an episode, but more of a whole show. And that is The Thick of It. What, you thought I was going to say The Office? No, I meant The Thick of It. If you've seen an episode of The Thick of It, you probably know what I mean here. I guess the Who episode you could compare it to is like Sleep No More, but that was more of a horror found footage genre. So there's an example, but it's not 100% what I mean. I guess the episode would be like a political or flashback episode to an event or like a battle or war that the Doctor and the team would encounter, and having to remember it for a reason like an interrogation or talking to one of the characters. So, I hope you liked this. I've had an enjoyable time thinking of ideas for this video and the types of episodes I'd like this show to do. Obviously the production team doesn't have to do them, but it would be nice for the show to change it up a bit, not to make the whole series stale. Anyways, the show is fast approaching our TV screens again, and I hope Legend of the Sea Devils is a great episode all to itself. Nice poster. Can't wait for the episode.